Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. I see Windstar. I see Ray. I see Sanchez, even David Wilson. I know you're here in spirit. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for coming, especially for the alumni of the show. Thank you all. Of course, I'll be bringing you all back on eventually, but today's guest is super, y'all are super special. But today is definitely a really special one for me because it is another veteran. Actually, not even a veteran. He's still in. He's still running around being Rambo and everything, y'all. So, I definitely am really excited to bring him on. But first, I do want to give honor and respect to a couple of people. As y'all know, it was Memorial Day this past weekend. So just really close to me is Michael Steele, Emily Perez, Nick Dewhurst, Dan Hyde, Michael Farrar. Thank you. You're not forgotten. Thank you so much. All right. With that said, I definitely want to bring on Primo. Let him introduce himself. So without further ado, Primo.
Hello. How's everybody doing? I see everybody's jumping in quick.
I know they're coming. They're coming for you, all the way from Hawaii. First of all, how cool is this to stream on YouTube all around the world?
From the East Coast to the far West. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I know you, first of all, tell everyone how long you've been donning United States Army on your chest.
So I hit 24 years in May of this year. So yeah, it's been a while. In fact, I was only coming in for 4 years. And somehow 20 years later, I'm still here, and I can't understand why.
It always happens like that. I think Windstar had a story like that. He's like, I was only here for 18 months. He's still somehow doing stuff.
And it flies too.
I did 12. It definitely flies. And then you start to realize, what am I going to do when I grow up?
To be fair, though, for 16 years, I was an instructor, so it's a pretty easy job compared to being a grunt on the line. In fact, when I finished my instructor, time, I went straight back to the only infantry unit in the Army Reserve, the 100th Battalion, most decorated unit in Army history. I went straight to them, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to stay up in the S3 kind of chill job, or do you want to go down, down to the line units, which is not easy?" And I'm like, you know what? I'm not broken yet, so let me see if I can. I went down there and I was like, "Oh no! I got to go back. Put me back in the office because those guys do not mess around." No. And it was an honor. I think I was in the line unit for 4 years after 16 years of being an instructor, and it definitely takes a whole lot to be there for those that are grunts that have to put on those big heavy rocks and go up mountains. They understand that that's not an easy job. So I did my time. I'm good. I can move on. I can play grandpa now. So
well, thank you again, NCOs, the backbone of the Army, Time Person of the Year for, I believe it was 2009. Oh, wow. Definitely. Thank you so much. I come from a long line of NCOs. So thank you for that. And just so y'all know, because I asked Windstar this question, Primo, your MOS.
11 Bravo. Now I came in as 11 Charlie. 11 Charlie is a mortarman, so it's basically a grunt up in the line, and then we get to carry tubes with big rounds that go up and.
I thought all guys carry tubes with rounds that go.
No, mine's are really big.
Really big tube.
I got the big tubes, and so I did that for 4 years active duty, and then they offered a cash bonus to kind of slide over to 11 Bravos, and I did that, and I was an instructor for 16 years doing that, so paid off.
Yeah. So 11 Bravo is an infantryman. So
it's
foot soldier for doing all that stuff. It's so cool. Like Windstar had the rounds, you're on the foot soldier. I'm shooting things in the sky. Vet Cloud game, it was all about admin, and Jinx, he comes in every once in a while as a commo guy, 25 Bravo. I believe he was. So
I actually was trying to get into commo when I came in, but I wasn't a U.S. citizen at the time. I was only so I actually signed up for the Army in May, right? Because that's when my year started. I got my residency, my green card, because I was illegal before then. I got my green card in June after I graduated because just everything was worked out. And then I went to basic in August. And so because I didn't have ship, it actually backtracked me. So I started base training late. And because of that, then I couldn't get any kind of technical jobs, anything that required a clearance. And so I just went dirty ground. But the video that the guy showed me was pretty high speed too. So that did help a lot.
No, well, thank you again. And I just want to give a shout out to Stadia Pro Gaming, Bruce Campbell, Jeff, Holt, Simpleton. Thank you so much for joining us. Talking to Primo, we're starting things off just, Primo, 24 years. I still think it's crazy.
I still can't believe I'm that old.
Yeah. So, Primo.
Yes.
We kind of talked about no, don't do that.
Beat your face. No.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Halo 5. Talk to me about your gaming journey. Everybody hears talks. We started off young, NES, Atari, Neo Geo. What was your thing when you were young?
Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit. I've watched all your shows, and when you asked me to be in it, I was like, I'm gonna stand out on this one. So I was 7 years old, little Mexican kid in Mexico. We went to LA for vacation to visit some uncles, and then the Nintendo came out. So I was like 87, right? The NES.
Yeah.
What is it? The first one, NES, right? Mm-hmm. So the NES was the new toy in town. Everybody wanted it, and we were in Los Angeles. We saw it in like a Walmart or something, whatever stores were running back then. And we were begging our mom, we want that. It's $100. That's a lot of money for a little Mexican kid, on vacation. So there was no way we were going to get it. We begged and we begged. And then my mom kept saying no. So we were like, oh, man. And then we saw some lady, some homeless guy collecting cans. And we're like, oh, how come they're collecting cans? We kind of figured it out. My brother was 3 years older, so he must have been 10. So he had that capacity, smart guy. And so he figured out that we can collect cans and make some money, right? So we got at it. We were only in LA for like a week. It took us 3 days to run around, collect a bunch of cans, and out of nowhere, we find a bag of coins just in some random trash can. I'm like, what? Pennies and nickels and dimes. So we counted all up, all excited. We saw all our cans, and we had 50-something bucks. So we told my mom, hey, we got 50. We got excited. We got a big bag of money. For us, it could have been $1 million. We wouldn't know the difference, right? So because we had half of the money, my mom was like, okay, I'll put in the rest of the money. What is that, $40 or something like that, plus taxes. So we got the first NES. It's not a big deal in LA, but when you go back to a little town with less than 2,000 people and the phones are barely coming up, we were like the most popular kids in town because we had the only NES in the entire, probably nobody till the first city had an NES. So we were playing Nintendo that we could only get the game that it came with, which is Duck Hunt. I think I heard you talking to Ray about Duck Hunt. So we played those games. We played Nintendo, and then Super Mario, and then that was it. No games, no consoles, no nothing until I was in the military and I got an Xbox 360. I played it for like a week and got tired of it. It just sat there, collected dust. I gave it to my little brother. Then we got married, had kids, got the Switch, not the Switch. What's the one before? The Wii. Yeah. I got it. I'm like, I got little kids. Let me see if we can play some golf or something like that. Whatever the sports games that come with it. Played it for like a week. Didn't touch it again. We sold it on like I don't know, whatever, Craigslist or something. And then the pandemic happened. That's a big gap. I just skipped
you just went
from 7 years old to now pandemic, because I was the pandemic I was 39, so that's only 32 years, right? And so we started the pandemic started, obviously Netflix. I was vlogging, doing travel videos for my channel at the time, but we couldn't travel anymore, so I ran out of videos and I'm like, I'm tired of watching Netflix. I can't go to the movies. That was my go-to before. I would probably go to the movies every day, if not every other day. Now I can't do any of that. So then I started playing with, I got an old computer that I can't run anything on. I always struggle because of it. So I couldn't install any games. And so I started doing emulators, like mobile game emulators. Jumped on, I think, PUBG Mobile, and I got hooked on PUBG Mobile. right? And then it stopped working. I couldn't shoot, so I could get into the game. I can get the lobby, start the game, and I run into somebody and try to shoot, and it wouldn't shoot, so I would get killed immediately. I'm like, what? So I thought it was like a computer, something with my computer. I found out, I guess they stopped supporting emulators, so then that's how they got people to stop using them. And so I'm like, oh, that sucks. And then I saw the Stadia 2-month free April 2020 deal. And I'm like, what's this? I signed up for it, and I always forget to turn off my subscriptions. So I signed up. I got the 2 months, and like the same exact time, like I basically signed up, and 5 minutes later I unsubscribed, and then I just started streaming. Just randomly. I'm like, yeah, I'm bored. Let's start streaming. And so the first stream of Stadia that you see is like literally the day that I got Stadia, and I had no clue what I was doing. In fact, I named that series Worst Gamer because, I mean, racing games were my favorite. Dirt, is it Dirt? The other one, not Dirt, but the other one. I forget the other one. But I was, it looks really bad. So if you check those first streams out, you can tell I had no gaming experience at all whatsoever. I barely had any streaming experience. And so that's it. That is my entire gaming
that's
history.
not it.
Until we started Stadia, and then from Stadia, I'm just going off now, and I do.
You're everywhere. Well, first of all, I want to give a huge shout out to Cowboy and Your Mama Knows. Nice. They came from Live Redirect. Thank you, Jeff, for the wording on that one. And yeah, just thank you everybody who's here. We're talking to Primo, finding out all sorts of stuff. One thing I think, even though you said you were not a gamer growing up, one thing is very much a theme that you mentioned, and I think this is really cool about gamers. They are probably as kids, the biggest economists and business barter type of people known to anyone. Because I've heard people trading things, I've heard people stealing things. You are collecting cans. I know you said y'all just found some random coins. I get that.
We did. Okay. For legal purposes, lawyers out there, we found a bag of coins.
Okay, I'm sure you found them. Hey, Wilson, how are you?
Don't get me in trouble.
You still have that guilt, he has not been to LA since, y'all. Has not been there. Cannot go back. So no, but I think that is just the ingenuity.
I think so.
To play a game, to have fun as a kid, into kind of to want to do what other kids do, right? Yeah. To me, even though you say you didn't play, you still had that gamer heart and spirit. That we've seen so much. But I still want to kind of tease out. I know you try to give me babyhood to TLDR. Not today. Not today. Not bottom line up front. Not going to do that one right now. So when you were, I think that's amazing. So you came in, Stadia basically brought gaming to you. So what about Stadia? Because you had an Xbox 360, and one is probably one of the few owners of Xbox 360 who did not have a red ring, a little red ring of death. So congratulations, kudos to you.
I mean, I played it 5 times, so I never.
That's the truth. That's the moral of the story. Only play Xbox 5 times, and you won't have a bad experience. I'm not joking. But so you have.
Why did I spend money on those consoles and I use them, but then something that's free I use now that's what I think about all day. I'm not 100% sure why, but I think the situation that we were in helped a lot. I think if I would have bought the 360 and then not been able to do anything else but play that Xbox, then maybe things would have been different, right? If I would have had the Nintendo Wii and not have have all these options to do something else, then maybe if I didn't have those options, then maybe I would have just stick to the Nintendo Wii. But because when it happened, right, I had nothing else to do but stay in the house and protect each other or whatever. That I was like, okay, I'll give it more than the 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So whenever I started crashing and dying or whatever, instead of just rage quitting and running away, I'm like, you know what? I can't be this bad. I mean, my 5-year-old can do better than this. So it's got to be So then I think that's when I got in, and then the bug hit me. You know what I mean? So I think the situation, I give the situation a big props, I guess you can say props. But I mean, if I'm being honest, and I couldn't find my Stadia shirt, but as you can see somewhere
No,
right
you
there,
have tons of Stadia swag.
yeah, I
I've
got some
seen with your
swag. I got some
videos. You have
swag.
like controllers on the wall. You have
Yeah, yeah,
Stadia.
yeah.
I think you even have Phil Harrison as your house guest a lot of
Yeah.
times. So tons
Yeah,
of
so
stuff.
I have a video that I'm working on where I show basically why Stadia is so convenient. And if it wasn't for that convenience, I don't think we'd be having this. I wouldn't be here on your show. You know what I mean? Because I probably wouldn't have been a gamer. But the fact that if I'm playing on the TV and my daughters start complaining because they want to watch their whatever show, then I can just go on my laptop. You know what I mean? If I'm on my laptop and then battery dies or whatever, I can go onto my desktop. If I'm on my desktop and then I need to go somewhere to buy groceries or whatever and wait in line for something, I can just jump on my phone. You see what I'm saying? So that convenience is insane to me, especially because I can't until the Switch, and that's the only reason I got the Switch, because it's kind of close, not all the way there, because you still need additional hardware to be able to jump from the TV to the computer, to do that kind of stuff. But plus all the downloads and the updates, that's my biggest frustrations with the Switch. But the fact that all of that is in just the one service that's technically free, it's to me it was amazing and got me hooked.
And since then you've amassed an amazing following on YouTube. If y'all didn't know, Primo is one of the top streamers in the Stadia community. So it's by subscriber count for sure. But we'll get to your channel in a second, and your stuff. You mentioned your kids, and I think this is kind of cool because a lot of times gamers, especially who come through, especially Stadia community, a lot of great parents, great fathers, great mothers, they were gamers, and so it's like them showing gaming to their kids. In a way, you're discovering gaming with your kids.
Yep. They're
What
better than me, by the way, but it's fun. It's
What's
fun.
Up, Trey, man?
Yeah, and to be honest, they're not as into gaming as I am. But I like the fact that I can at any time just start playing with them at the same time, with different games at the same time with them. I don't know if that made sense, but just the fact that it's easy to do that, right? So my daughter has a Chromecast, not a Chromecast, I'm sorry, a Chromebook. And so she got that for Christmas. She has a Chromebook. And when I was playing with Jeff this week and last week, I think we started playing Crata. My daughter loves Crata. She saw me playing, and then she's like, "Oh, can I play?" So she just grabbed her Chromebook, jumped on, and Jeff helped me out, put her in the game, and it was that fast. It was within a minute. Oh, what are you doing? What are you playing? Can I join? Yeah, and then she was in the game. I mean, what else can you do that with? If I'm playing on the Switch, I can't play, and she can't play at the same time with somebody streaming, right? We only have the one Switch. We do have two Switches. The other one you can't see is Nintendo Switch Lite. I haven't touched it in 3 months. You know what I mean? And so, but with Stadia, that's it. You don't need additional hardware. You just have both. I sound like a commercial for them, but.
No, I think this is helpful to hear, because a lot of times we hear the story of like, I was a gamer and this was new tech, right? That is a storyline we hear. Right. I'm a gamer, and like my story, it brought me back to gaming. Yeah. Sometimes it's like, oh, it's cloud gaming. I was really into that before. Now I'm coming back in this one. Like, there's a lot of different stories, but what we don't necessarily hear is someone who was not into gaming, right? Yep. Then picking it up and saying like, whoa, like let me just go right back in, because I have the control. This isn't necessarily the easiest thing. Sorry, it's the white ones on screen. It's gonna get the little FaceTime right now. I have all 4 colors, by the way. But that one's the I have it like if I'm playing a game right now, I'm playing a ton of Outriders. Depending on how good I need to be in the game determines which color controller I play. Yeah. Don't tell anybody that. As I tell the entire YouTube community.
Take your mode.
Yeah, exactly. Like if the higher up we go, the darker the colors get. That's all. So I think that's really unique, though, that you basically just like picked it up, said, "Let me play it. Let's continue to play it." your kids. Now, were your kids gaming before you, or was it really like a thing at the same time?
Yeah, so one of the videos that I have is reviewing or unboxing the Amazon tablets for kids, the kids version. But they had a promotion where they had 2 for 1, basically. So as cheap as I am, I had to jump on that. So I bought them that, and they were playing it. They play those little touch and drag and click and drag and those games. But they get burnt. Well, they kind of get tired. Their attention span is not super long, so they play those, but they can't stick to those. You see what I'm saying? And so because I guess there's no storyline behind them, I'm not too sure. So that's before Stadia. That's the only thing they would really play on. And now my little one still doesn't play Stadia as much. She likes Animal Crossing, so she's the only one really that touches the Switch once every other week. But the older one, the one that played with me and Jeff and everybody else, she likes jumping in. They're not allowed to touch their devices until they ask me or mom. So every other day, oh, Papa, can I play Stadia? Yeah, go ahead. You know what I mean? I never say no to Stadia, but I always say no to like YouTube, to like
Stadia's good.
their
Oh my
tablets.
God.
So she knows that if she asks if to play Stadia, I'm gonna say yeah, because then I want to join. So she's smart, man.
Jumping into games with Jeff, that seems like it's a pretty mature crowd there. So like
they behave themselves. Plus, she couldn't hear anybody, so that was good.
So we have a couple of questions here, and y'all know you all are part of this conversation. You can have your own conversations, just a place for the community to come together. I'll answer Holtz's question. I played all of Lamote with the Wasabi controller, so it gives you a little idea of what I'll play with.
It's your lucky charm.
But yeah, Wasabi. But if I really have to like play, like I haven't played Cowboy with the black controller yet, but when I do, I'll just let you know I played him with the white one, so it kind of didn't play so well. But here's a question from And Your Mama Knows, the master of vlogging. He has his little hand thing. Yeah. What's your favorite game on Stadia?
Yeah, so right now it's got to be PUBG, and that's because PUBG was such a favorite of mine. First, before I say anything, if it wasn't for Ray, I wouldn't be in this community. So that's
Ray again. Huge shout out to our
hands down.
Guest,
nobody better. Awesome guy, dirty mouth, but that's okay. We all have our differences. But without Ray, there's no way I would have met any of you guys. I would have been able to play with you guys online. So before anything else, I want to make sure that everybody knows that Ray is the man. It's so that, and then I'll cover some other stuff later. But because PUBG was one of my favorite games, I saw Ray. I would watch you guys. You kind of knew when I started watching Ray. I started seeing you more and more. And everybody's streams. But before that, I would watch Ray. I would watch. I knew about Cowboy. There was a bunch of obviously the big one, Sonny, and John when he got that tattoo, all those things, right? But because I was such a big fan of PUBG, I saw Ray playing it, and then I got him right in the beginning. He played. Thankfully, his timing, his schedule works with mine. So thank goodness for that. And I saw him playing. I'm like, you know what? I don't normally jump into chats. I'm just kind of like I kind of stay back. Maybe I'll listen while I play and stuff like that. Because you never know, right? Somebody can just say no, and then I'll be crushed, and I'll be like, oh, he said no, and then never do it again. But I don't know. Something about Ray told me, yeah, this guy seems like a nice guy. So then I asked, hey man, you mind if I jump in? Without hesitation, send me the invite. I started playing with them, and that was the beginning to me being part of this community right here. And so PUBG by far is my favorite game. I suck at it. I'm not good at all, but it's something about that. And just to cover a little bit more of that, why I think PUBG is my favorite. I like open world games, normally games that I don't die in, but PUBG is obviously an exception to that. But open world games where you get to kind of explore, collect. Animal Crossing on the Switch was the one that got me all those subscribers on my channel. Because it's such a kind of mellow, you explore, you collect. So that's what I tend to go for. So this month was great for me. I know a lot of people are upset because there aren't a lot of AAA games. To me, I don't have no idea what a AAA game is supposed to be. Is that $1 billion game? Is that like $100 million game? I have no idea what a AAA means, right? To me, a game that can catch my attention and keep me on there for hours, like Spiritfarer. I've been playing that one a bunch. to me, that's a AAA game, right? Because isn't that what we're talking about? AAA, more A's, that means better students, so that means better game. I played some AAA games that I give them 5 minutes and I'm done with them. So yeah, a long story short, PUBG.
PUBG. And I want to say a special hello to Justin coming in, another fellow New Yorker. I think he's part of the Xbox ecosystem. I'm not mistaken. Justin, let us know there. But thank you for stopping by. Always love having different people come in. And Holtz, you're exactly right. The purple controller, it's basically like Mike Dick and Michael Jordan together. Nuclear bomb will happen. For anybody who actually understands that, that's it. It's a Saturday. It's a Saturday Night Live. It's a Saturday Night Live reference. All right. Are you into fighting games, Primo?
I do like fighting games because I'm so bad at gaming. I haven't really picked a favorite. I played oh man, what's the one with the colorful Rangers, Power Rangers? So I played that one. I like Mortal Kombat because when I was a kid, I used to go to the arcades, and then that's another thing I didn't mention. I used to go to Mortal Kombat a lot, especially because it was, back then it was taboo to play that game with all the violence and stuff, especially at that age. So I do like fighting games. If I had to pick one from the Stadia library, I would say Mortal Kombat, but I'm not good at them. You're gonna hear me say that a lot about every genre.
I just pressed the wrong buttons. Like I'm actually really good.
Yeah.
I just pressed the wrong one. I pressed the wrong ones. Like I'm actually doing combinations, but it's like the wrong order. It's long
every
story,
time I play,
story.
It sounds like I'm typing an essay. That's all you hear is da, 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 da. So
no, I hear you. Certified doctor. Speaking of people who are horrible at games, welcome, certified. Thank you for stopping by. Just talking about PUBG. Well, I guess any type of game with certified. No, definitely. So, talk to us about a little bit more about your channel because, in my mind, we don't just have Stadia content creators, we have Stadia reality TV show stars. So you have Cowboy on the East Coast, shows us everything happens in his life. And then when I think about Hawaii, and then you blog a lot about your life and you bring your family into it as well.
Pretty open, yeah.
What is that? Your journey to how did you get into content creation? Because it doesn't seem like it was through gaming, or was it?
I've always been an attention getter. I've kind of subdued my personality a little bit recently, being older, having kids, you know what I mean? But ever since I can remember, I was I'm going to say, it's going to sound so corny, but I was like the life of the party. It sounds so bad. But the reason I say that is because I've never been drunk. I don't need to drink to be able to hype myself or hype people up. I love to dance. Anytime I go to somewhere and they have music, somebody's going to dance, guaranteed. You know what I mean? So I've always kind of had that personality. I like being open because I've had bad experiences lying. And so I'm not comfortable with lying anymore. I'm a terrible liar.
That's a good thing. It's bad if you said I had good experiences lying.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You're good. You're a good person. That's good.
Good
lessons learned growing up.
The hustlers definitely probably have good experiences.
I mean, minus those coins you found randomly in Los Angeles. You've been doing.
I promise you, that's 100% right. Truth. It was a huge Ziploc bag with like just mostly pennies, but. So I had bad experience lying. I try my best not to lie. I try to be honest. I've learned throughout the years that honesty is the best policy, as corny as it sounds. And so I've gotten in real life a lot of friends because even though I can tend to be harsh, I try to strive to be more not incorporate. Inclusive, yeah. I try to be more inclusive, and so that kind of changed my thought process and all of that. And so all that to say that I started the channel, right, just because I wanted to kind of share some of the unique things about my life. My daughters are 8 and 10. They're both trilingual, so they can speak English, Spanish, and Japanese. I wouldn't say fluently, but enough that I only speak Spanish to them. My wife only speaks Japanese to them, and they can switch back and forth easily. So I think it's pretty unique. I was a legal immigrant that was, obviously went to combat for the U.S. and I had a bunch of years. I have a bunch of years in service, and so there's a lot of things about me that seem that could maybe be interested to somebody. So that's plus I had a photography company that I wanted to make videos for, and then but I had a really bad on camera kind of personality, like hi guys, so welcome to. So I wanted to practice with that, and so that's how my channel started. Right. And then because I love sharing, because I love anytime I discover something new, I like putting it out in the world to see how many people pick it up. So keto was one of them. I lost a bunch of weight with keto. I still think it's the best. It works 100%. It's just not for everybody, including, I guess, apparently for myself, because it's hard to stick to. And then after I stopped making keto videos, I had right around there, I started transitioning to vlogging, because we were starting to travel more and more. We go to Mexico and Japan every year, and then we decided to go to different countries on spring break. So we started traveling to a bunch of places. So I'm like, I'm gonna record it so that way, if I take my 4-year-old to Disneyland, if it's on video, she can't say, "No, you never took me to Disneyland." Yeah, look, pop out YouTube. I'll show you where I took you, and you didn't even appreciate it. And so I can kind of use that as a guilt trip for whenever they
Are they watching the show?
No, right now they're in a water park right now. So, but I'll make sure they watch it, especially this clip right here. And so I started doing vlogs, and obviously the pandemic prevented us from doing that, and that's kind of got me to streaming. And to be fair, though, so Stadia is the Stadia community is very welcoming. I love the Stadia community. The Animal Crossing community is just as welcoming, right? The only difference is the Animal Crossing sold 30 million games, right? Compare that to right under a million Stadia users. So when you make content, Animal Crossing is just gonna hands down beat any Stadia content video. But regardless, while I was making Animal Crossing content, I would sprinkle in Stadia, because it was just such a big passion of mine that I started slowly being. So most of the viewers that you see when you come in, if you don't know them from the Stadia community, they're coming over from the Animal Crossing community, even though they have no interest in Stadia, because that's just how it is. So to bring it back to Ray, that's why I kind of hesitated earlier. So I was looking at Ray's channel, and I'm like, how come this guy doesn't have 20,000 subscribers? I don't understand. Like, what? You know what I mean? How this guy should be beating everybody easy, right? And so I figured it out. It's not on him, right? It's not on him. It's the fact that the community is still so small. You know what I mean? Biggest channel right now is 22,000. Most of them are probably casual players that don't spend most of the time watching streamers. Like I didn't do that before till now. And so what happens is, until that community grows, we're gonna be small channels, and that's okay, because that gives you that time to elevate your production value, to elevate your comfort with it. Just as long as you're careful not to burn out. I think all of us and all the Stadia content creators right now can, at some point, somebody has to hit 100,000 at some point, and when that happens, that brings everybody else up. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not impatient with it. I understand it. I started a Spanish channel because when Stadia goes to Latin America, that Spanish channel is going to start bringing eyes in, and then that's just going to bring all of us up. So it's exponential growth. That's what you want to look at. It's exponential growth. Look at how Stadia gets their numbers, right? Even though they don't share them with us, they didn't get to 100 to 700,000 like this. It was like this, and that's how we're going to grow with that same wave. So if you're a Stadia content creator, you got a couple hundred, maybe just hit 1,000 subscribers. If you're passionate about it, they're gonna come, because you can tell, you can see it. When I watch Ray, I can see he's passionate about cloud gaming, about all the different places where you can get that cloud gaming experience. And so it's just that the audience is not there yet, which is good. We're basically in the frontier of cloud gaming. So don't get discouraged if you're streaming to yourself for a little while, to 2-3 people for a little while. If you get one to watch you, you already beat the system. That's how I feel. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Everything you're saying is so motivational. I love when I talk to. One thing that's like super cool for me to listen to, it's just like there's so much knowledge in everybody we bring, or who comes onto the show, everybody in chat. And that's the one thing I really like about this community, is that it's not always about, if anything, it's never about winning. It's all about the connections and and the things. And I want to give another shout out to someone, Kay Jones. Thank you for stopping by. I see you there. Yes, get your controller swag up. But yeah, I just think, one thing we hear constantly, there's a few constants, right? Ray, as we can tell, is a constant in everyone's conversation. Another one is just like the view on game, in that more mature look on things. And this one, I didn't even have to ask the question, which was, what would you tell a new content creator, a new streamer, or a new anything? And what I heard is a message of perseverance. And also, because we are Stadia, and you got people all over the world trying to always bring Stadia down, resiliency. We don't talk about that enough, I think, but I do think it is a very resilient crowd. The Stadia content creators, and even the people who sometimes might not
disagree.
They kind of disagree. They are resilient too. Like, I look at Maker. I think that's like one of the most resilient dudes around.
That guy runs church every time I listen to his videos. Like, preach.
No, but yeah. So I think I appreciate that, and we have a question about fasting. What's your
So I saw that, and I think me and Cabo would have been best friends at some point, because we have. I see his hype that he has now. I don't know how you maintained it at 40 something, because I used to be like that, and it just slowly, it's kind of depleted, just age or something. I don't know what it is, but so yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of videos on this, so you guys can check it out too if you want. It's on I have a keto playlist. When I was full blown on keto, I would eat one meal a day and then a snack. So it's hard to get there. It takes 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even longer, depending on how long you've been beating up your body, basically. Purple Haze looks pretty healthy, so I'm sure if she started doing low carb diets, she'd be on that ketone fuel in a few days. With me, with all the damage that you do with junk food and all that, it takes a little longer. So intermittent fasting is actually not a weird thing, because if you think about breakfast, right, you're breaking your fast. That's the only time that you really need to eat, is just to give you that energy, And so my thoughts of intermittent fasting is it works 100%, and it doesn't make you feel hungry throughout the day. In fact, most people that stick to it, to intermittent fasting, do it because they can't eat anything else in between that. They're just so full. So it got to the point for me where I would eat dinner, and I'll be too full for breakfast. I start getting kind of not hungry, but I start craving something in lunch. So I eat like a little bag of nuts. Don't take that anywhere.
I
can just tell the mind's just going off like that comment. And then by the time that dinner comes up, then you're hungry again. And so if you have the patience, if you have the tenacity for it, you can get to a point where you don't need to eat that much. It's hard for me now, because there's a lot of issues and stuff that kind of pull me away. But I have proved it multiple times in my videos, in my vlogs, especially the early vlogs, that it works. And then I look all pretty and sexy, and I got the jaw going, and I got the the shoulders going, but that fades away if you don't stick with it. So
is that it? That's it.
It fades away. I know where I'm at now. I'm good.
I'm good. I'm glad we got I can't take you. So I want to get back to and I want to say again, Hutch, thanks for stopping by. Hutch is another person always just like you, working, trying to stop by the channel while I'm streaming. Thank you so much for the support, Hutch, as always. And if you all haven't, go watch Hutch's channel. Great game, amazing gamer himself. Has a pretty cool story as well. So I want to go back to your channel. Mm-hmm. You do obviously. Hey Wit, how are you? Another new streamer to the scene. So many new streamers. Awesome. So do you have like your plan? You talked about a Stadia channel in Espanol, or
Mhm,
is it just
mhm.
like a? Is it so? This is another channel. We have
It's
another
Nubis
Primo.
Stadia. Yeah, it's the one. It's the first channel featured, and then followed by everybody on the chat. Basically, basically, if you look at my channel, it's Nubis Stadia as the first channel, and then after that is back to back Ray, Windstar, everybody. If I'm missing you, let me know. So let me know. I want to feature every Stadia content creator. I think there's a maximum on there, but just let me know if I'm not on there. I want. If you're not on there, I want to put you on there. But yeah, it's Nubis Stadia, and basically it's all gameplays right now. At some point, I want to make standalone uploads videos about how to use Stadia, like that Stadia 101 video that I make. I'm going to translate the PowerPoint, the very exciting PowerPoint presentation, and put it in Spanish. So that I can do the Spanish version of that. So things like that. But like I said, I want it so that when it does hit Latin America, there's already content there that when people are searching, they're like, oh, this guy's on Stadia. ¿Qué Stadia? Yo no sé qué Stadia. Vamos a ver qué tiene. And then people can find me that way, you know?
My mom is like, she sometimes watches. I don't know if she's watching now,
Novelas.
but she's always like, you need to do something. I'm like, Mom, because like I speak like Texas Spanish a little bit,
Yeah.
but I'll just be like, no, Primo has it. I'll guest appear on Primo's channel.
I'm only doing it because my Spanish is fading, and it does help a lot. It does help
How's
a
your
lot.
Spanish
So
fading? You have an accent.
I was 9 when I left. Yeah, I was 9 when I left. It's the craziest thing is that I wasn't even speaking English fluently until I hit the military, and then after that, you speak it every day, and so it just starts going. You speak English every day, so the Spanish just starts kind of fading. I speak Japanese too, by the way, but then because since the pandemic, I haven't. So when I do photography, is mostly Japanese weddings, so I get to practice it every day. And ever since then, it's just been kind of fading and fading. So you have to practice it. It doesn't just stick around. Just because you were lucky enough to get it taught when you were little doesn't mean it's going to stick around forever. So.
Oh well, that's my thing to my mom. She didn't teach me when I was. Don't worry, my mom's gonna like call me after this. And
It's
be
hard
like,
though. I mean, to be honest, it's yeah. To be honest, it's harder on the parents than it is on the kid. For the kids, is nothing. My oldest was 18 months when she can count in Spanish, English, and Japanese, like flawlessly. Like there was no hesitation, nothing. But me and my wife kept scolding each other because, hey, you're supposed to say that in Japanese. Hey, make sure you say it in Spanish, because it's way harder. You get used to it. You get lazy and you get used to it. It's an effort when you're trying to learn a different language. And so if you slack off, it'll start dipping. And then once it starts dipping, it's like a diet too.
It's like
once
I
it
always
starts
think of
dipping,
it like a muscle. I always think of it like a muscle.
It's exactly that. Yeah.
Like for me, it was the army sent me to school to go learn French, and yeah, don't even like it's wet. It's wet, like yeah. But I always think of it like a muscle, and surprisingly, like my Spanish has kind of always been at a baseline. But I totally hear you on that. In Japanese, there's so what is everybody? Mr. Urban World, Holt, Simpleton here watching anime.
I mean, you're sitting there from East Coast, 6 hours ahead of me. Next thing you know, you're gonna be talking to somebody in China or Russia, or what I mean. I don't know why they both were coming.
I mean, you picked some really winners there.
Switzerland, you know what I mean. So at some point, it's just gonna be the words is gonna be international. So if you can get your kids to learn the languages that you speak, or you can pick up a language, just even if it's a hobby. I mean, if you speak Spanish, right? So this is your motivation right here, Purple Haze. This is your motivation, right? So okay. English is the most spoken language in the world as a second language. The first language is Spanish. So the second you get yourself to conversational,
say it again. Say that. Say that fact
so
again.
English is the second, is the most spoken language if you're a second language speaker, right? So if you speak 2 languages, most likely one of them is English. Does that make sense?
Okay.
But if you're a native speaker, right, the most spoken language is Spanish. There's almost 500 million people that speak Spanish, and you're like, well, but China has like 500 million people. I mean, they have like 1 billion people. India, but they all speak different dialects. So Mandarin and Cantonese are not the same. You can't count them the same because it's not the same language. So Spanish speakers make the majority of native speakers. So that means that as soon as you learn conversational Spanish, which is you only need to learn 20% of Spanish to be able to get there, which is 20% is doable. Then imagine how many countries you'd be able to travel without even hesitating on your language skills. You see what I'm saying? So Spain, easy. right? Mexico, easy. Central America, South America, it's 20-something countries that speak language as a first language. Speak Spanish as a first language. And so just with that alone, just learning 20% of that language is going to get you all over the world, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? That's your
I
motivation.
just love this. This is amazing. Mr. Urban
That's your
World is here
motivation
like
right there.
it's like I'm learning languages as we speak, you know, like him and his VR stuff and everything. But no, that's amazing.
Yeah.
We have another question from Kay Jones, because it seems like this is what I love. Like, yes, you're a gamer, but there's so much more. And I try to highlight
Yeah.
who are the guests outside of, you know, who's the person underneath the gamer. Who would have learned we would have got, like, everybody here is about to go get Rosetta Stone or whatever the heck they need to learn a language. We have so many diet questions. You know, do you have a vlog with healthy meal cooking tutorials?
So if you go to my playlist and just look for vlogs, they start out by talking about food. So the first 7 were kind of rough because I was doing it with my phone. They're like 3 to 4 minutes. They start out kind of rough, and then in the middle they get a little too long, a little bit too much information. So if you're really interested, watch those. And then as I go, I kind of start slowly kind of transitioning more towards family travel than a diet, because, like I said, the only reason that I struggled with keto, this is the only reason, is because of peer pressure. And what that means is that in fact, this is going to be a perfect analogy, I think. You're going to notice that you start talking to people about Stadia and they have zero interest in it. And you're like, no, but Stadia is great. You got to try it. I mean, it's free. And people are like, yeah, that sounds cool. So anyways, and then, you know what I mean? And then it gets almost frustrating to the point where you just stop talking about it to people that have no interest. So that's how I felt with keto. I would tell everybody, oh my God, this is crazy. I have all this energy. I'm losing weight without working out. I'm eating as much as I want, not as much as I want, but I'm eating whatever I want. And I'm still losing weight. You know, it's just so great. And everybody's like, yeah, but I can't give up my bread. I gotta have my bread. Oh, you know, I have a lot of Asian friends, right? And like, oh no, I can't. I gotta eat my rice. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't have to. And so it gets to a point where it just gets frustrating to talk about it. And so you just stop talking about it, and then it gets to where, you know, you go to somebody's party and they have pasta, and then you don't want to say, no, I can't eat that because of keto. And then you just avoid the conversation completely, and so then you start breaking. And so that's what we're doing right here. That's what we're noticing right now with the Stadia community, which is like, it sounds like a long reach for me to get from keto to Stadia community.
I've seen some reaches, but this one.
But that's exactly what we're looking at. People are getting disappointed because they're not getting what they want from Stadia. So therefore, they want to share their disappointment with everybody else. And if you have one doubt, then that doubt is going to build if somebody else is telling you, oh, you're right. That doubt that you have, that's correct. So we'll go with that. Forget about all these, 10 points that make you happy about Stadia. Focus on this one thing that nobody else, but me cares about. So it goes both ways. That's why, these conversations never really end, because, I'm going to tell you why, one thing is good while, trying to convince me why it's bad. The point is, if you like it, like Ray always says, if you like it, just play it. Same thing if you're getting to a keto diet and people are telling you, oh, that doesn't really work. Okay, fine. That's what they think. You try it. If it works for you, then just stay on it. You know what I mean? I know for a fact that if I go straight keto for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to drop 30 pounds. Easy, because it's mostly weight, and then it takes a little while to build up. And I already know all the mechanics to it. So, yeah.
No, I mean, like,
I told you I can go off on rants.
I love it. It's like, I just had a joke before where Cowboy's like, we start the conversation, anything goes. I'm like, anything goes, but it always ends with you talking about the future of Stadia it holds.
I love it.
It always ends.
My mind is like, it just can't comprehend why people are so focused on the little negatives when there's so much positive. It's like, stop asking for things that aren't there. Just be happy with what's there. I just finished recording the video that I'm making where I'm playing in my car. You're going to see this video probably this week. I'm playing in my car. I moved to my couch. I moved to my desk. I moved to my table, all playing the same game without breaking a beat. I mean, that's insane.
We have another dietitian in the chat, Simpleton. He has the Edo diet. Simpleton, if it works for you, as long as you're eating food, I'm happy. Just eat food. It's like what I say. Just as long as you're eating.
Yeah. Some people are just blessed.
Eat the way
Some
you want
people,
to.
yeah.
Eat the way you want to eat.
Some people are blessed. They can eat whatever they want. They don't have to worry about weight gain. Me and my brother, same mom, same dad, 3 years apart. He's 6'1", 180 pounds, soccer player, fast runner, good athlete, got a scholarship for athletics and academics. And me, I'm 5'10", 260 pounds at the moment. And I can't, I can walk fast. So the point is that, it's just a luck of the draw. You know what I mean? If you're blessed with good genes, and just appreciate.
Talked about your brother, didn't mention the most important thing.
What's that?
He's single and he's a multimillionaire.
No, yeah, he kind of his
yeah.
He's in Mexico now, married to
no, not again. I forgot.
You can be lucky in the beginning, and then it might not carry you through. Some people
it
might
doesn't
start
do
with
that.
bad
It
luck.
doesn't do that like that.
Nope.
Like doesn't work for that.
Sometimes it dips. If he changes the way he's doing things, maybe he's basically one of those. The pandemic is a hoax thing, so they kind of it dipped quick. And he has a master's in behavioral science, so
it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
exactly. It's cool. Well, Primo, this has been an amazing conversation. I've learned so much. I thought I had it on my mom there for a second, like, look, mom, I have it, but then you're like, oh no, it's on the child, it's harder on the parent, blah blah blah. I was like, oh gosh. So now she's gonna give me all sorts of stuff again for a while.
No, it's your mom's fault. I'm saying it's your mom's fault.
You're saying it's my mom.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
there you go, Mama Hayes.
She got lazy with it. Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
Clip that. Send it to her. She can comment on my videos if she has a problem.
Hey, Sean, how are you? Yeah, no, you'll see Mama Hayes. Y'all may see her here pretty soon. I might be going to Texas here really soon. But Primo, it's that time of the show. Yep. What do you have going on next? Where can people find you? Hint, it's in the description of the video, or maybe it's not. I think it is. It's in the description. But we'll figure it out. In your own words, where can they find you?
Yeah, so my channel is PrimoYonic. You can find me using that. It used to be LVP 1980. You can find me.
Hey, whose cousin are you, by the way? I'm
everybody's cousin. I'm in Hawaii. Everybody's a cousin over here. You know what I mean? So, and in Mexico, I have tons of cousins. That's a really long story. We might want to get
another video for Primo.
But I'm everybody. You're my cousin. I'm everybody's cousin. If you're in Hawaii, that's the culture, and so that's why I went with cousin PrimoYonic. Primo for cousin, and then Yoni is what my family calls me. So it's actually closer than my people call. Some people call me as Leo. So if you call me Yoni, that means you're closer. You're tighter in my family because only my family calls me Yoni. And so that's why I love that name. It took me years to get it though. So
it's PrimoYonic.
Yeah, PrimoYonic. So Yoni is what people call me back home. If I go to Mexico, nobody calls me Leonardo or Leo or Leo, none of that. They call me Yoni. And Primo, I have a lot of cousins, so it's always PrimoYonic. Hey, PrimoYonic, venga. So that's what it is. So that's why I changed it to that. But yeah, so I try to stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Hawaii time is right after Ray, which is midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern. But I do drop videos every day around midnight my time, so that if you can't catch me live, you can always watch the replay, or you can watch some of those videos that I'm dropping. And yeah, I'm just doing a bunch of different things. The last thing I'll mention is, if you're a content creator, do not do it for the views. Do not do it for the money, because you are guaranteed going to burn out. You're going to burn out because you're going to have an idea that you think everybody's going to love, and you're going to get 5-6 views on it, and then you're just going to be disappointed. So don't do it. If you think it's a great video, do it because you think it's a great video. If it doesn't get views, then that's people that are losing out, not your production value. So yeah, that's my last little tidbit. If you're on this quest to produce content for people, don't do it for hype. Don't do it for this fame. Just do it because you enjoy it. That's it.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. And as y'all know, I'll be here on Thursdays doing Shades of Purple. Also, you may find me in the chat with Lo-Fi Monk. His show's tomorrow, Cloudy Thoughts. And then I'll be doing my playthrough of the Raider of Tombs, Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, as Holtz says, Lara, doing that. And yeah, this has been super fun. Thank you all again for coming together. Stadia community is it's not just a Stadia community. Let me say that, because this is a gaming community. There are multiple people here who play multiple platforms. Some don't play Stadia. So thank you all for coming and showing your support. And as I said before, I'm going to probably be bringing, I am bringing on other content creators who are other gamers in general. So be on the lookout for that. But until then, everyone, this is Purple Haze, and the proof is in the playing. All right, later, y'all.